So, Steve, first of all, thanks for taking some time for us. I would like to talk a little bit about the Enzo situation, what happened, your opinion about a few stuff. We are now into the third day after the signing yesterday. Benfica president Rui Costa gave an interview and he kind of criticized not only Chelsea but especially Enzo Fernández for the fact that he wanted to go from moment one. Is this a topic today in England, in the press, between the fans, or is it a done deal and no one, to put it simple, cares about it anymore?
Yeah, to be blunt, I think for most English fans normally are quite insular and focused on their team and the Premier League. So I think what was going on in terms of Benfica's view on the transfer wasn't particularly big news during the transfer window. And now I think everybody expected them to get him. They always knew Chelsea had the money. They've now got the player, and I think that's it, a closed subject. In terms of one interesting thing I wanted to mention with Enzo is my understanding was that when he joined Benfica, he saw it as a stepping stone.
He said that when he came.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I understand Benfica fans are very disappointed that Enzo's moved on, but I also think from looking at what he said when he joined and considering he had such a good World Cup, it seemed like the right moment in his career to move, and Chelsea were obviously the right team who were willing to pay that amount of money, to which many teams probably wouldn't have splashed that money on him, but it was a coming together of the player wanting that opportunity and the club wanting that particular player.
Talking about Chelsea, everyone is hammering. We were talking about it off. What's your opinion about the negotiation, the way Chelsea did it? Some people in Portugal criticized it. Even the Benfica coach, Roger Schmidt, criticized Chelsea, the way they were approaching the player. What's your view on the subject?
So I think negotiation is a funny term for it because I don't think Chelsea in quite a lot of their transfer dealings have really negotiated. They've got the money, they've got the intent, they've identified certain players that they think will make them better. They went to Benfica and said, could we do it in this way? Could we pay you a bit less? Could we do some loans? And Benfica, I think, like fair play to them, they kept it very clear, pay the release clause. Chelsea like, we don't really want to. And then at the end, they obviously just did. So, I mean, Chelsea, the word that's been used a lot in the English media is scattergun.
Okay, I will have to check what that means. Okay,
check it out. But I'll explain it. Basically, scattergun approach is literally kind of you're just doing lots of different things that don't seem to make much sense. They've bought a lot of young, very good up-and-coming talent, but then they've also spent money on Galacticos. Yes. They've got the loan for João Felix, which I think not many people really understand the financial element of that deal.
It's a lot of money for a loan.
And they've obviously kind of gone toe-to-toe with Arsenal for Mudryk and paid a lot of money for a player like Enzo, who is undoubtedly a good player, but was worth a lot less 6 months ago.
Absolutely, yeah. Last question, and talking a little bit about the entire Premier League. A lot of fans around the world are slowly but certainly starting to criticize the way the clubs are buying everyone from everyone. The question is made, Premier League or Super League, the one that failed. You as a fan, as someone who loves the game, someone who comes from England, what's your view? Do you like it that the Premier League is concentrating almost every good player in Europe? Do you feel it's the right path or not?
I think it's a really interesting question. I think English fans at the moment recognise that they're in a very good moment. They understand. I mean, I think maybe Haaland was possibly a really big transfer in terms of the English game, and now Enzo, because we're starting to get these players who are the Galactico players. We never really attracted kind of Messi at his peak or Neymar, but we're now starting to pick up those players. And I think everybody can see on the pitch that the standard of the football is probably the best we've seen.
Absolutely.
Tied in with that is the coaching talent, because obviously we're in a golden age in terms of having Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp.
All the best coaches are there.
Exactly. So we're getting this concentration of players and coaching talent. So I think there's that, but there's the financial element to it. And that's the side that I think I love having a good product, if you want to use a rubbish word. I love seeing beautiful football in my country, but particularly for Champions League football, etc., you want a strong European game. And so you want Real Madrid and Barcelona and PSG and Bayern and everybody to be incredibly strong as well. So, yeah, I mean, in a personal sense, I'm loving what's going on in the English game, but I think there is that danger that if it continues for 5, 10, 15 years, that you may get this disparity between the Premier League and the other European leagues, and no one wants that, I don't think.
Thank you so much, Steve.
No, pleasure.